Hello, I'm Nicholas Bergeron, and I'm going to talk about my results for the first lab in Physics 2211. So, to illustrate the concept of a zero net force acting on an object, I rolled a tennis ball across the floor of my dorm, as you can see right here. And then also using Tracker, I was able to calculate, well, not well, plot the position versus time graph, as you can see right here. And I use Tracker just because it is the easiest way to just take a video and using the various tools to calculate the position of the ball at each time interval. And then I used these first 2 points right here, and I found that slope, and I calculated the initial velocity of this ball, and then using that, I went into GlowScript, and I was able to create a theoretical position versus time graph using that initial velocity. And as you can see in this combined graph, the two graphs are very different. And the primary reason for this, of course, is friction itself. In the tested example, there is friction acting on the ball, while in GlowScript, there friction just isn't included in its calculations. And I could, if I there I could have there are several ways that I could have alleviated this difference. Is primarily changing my ball. A tennis ball has various ridges on it, which is going to create a more irregular motion and also going to cause more friction than something like a bowling ball, for example, which is relatively smoother. But for this experiment, I'm fine with, or I'm not fine, but it is what the different results I get are acceptable for the scope of this experiment. And we can actually see when friction starts to begin slowing down the ball around pretty close to the half-second mark. There is a slight difference right here, but once it goes, after 1 second, there is a pretty significant difference between the projected position and the tested position, and this is only over the course of a single second. So if we were to extrapolate this to 2 or even 3 or 5 seconds, that there would be a much bigger difference in the line, as it changes by almost 20% of the velocity. So as time goes on, this friction is going to become more apparent. And let's say that if when I was graphing or when I was creating my calculations on Tracker, I were to change how I use the x-axis, it wouldn't change the velocity of the ball. It would only change how I am perceiving the motion and the velocity of the ball. If I were to make the x be into negative x, the slope would not change. I mean, it would change, but it would simply be coming down from the top of this graph and sloping down like that. There isn't actually any change in the motion of the ball. It just changes how I'm perceiving it. And then we can actually look at the look at the ball, and we can see which forces are causing this to have a net force of 0. So in the x direction, once I threw the once I pushed the ball, there was no force acting on it in that direction, and theoretically there should be none acting on it in the opposite direction. But we know that that's false due to the tested position and friction. But in our projections, we can assume that friction is equal to 0. But there is also the force pushing down the ball from gravity and the attraction between the ball and the earth. But there is the floor also pushing back up against the ball. So in this case, the only forces acting on it are in the y position. They're just in equal magnitude in opposite directions. So they are able to cancel each other out. Those are the primary forces acting on the ball. And I've gone over the primary differences between the projected position and the tested position. I also have gone through how I calculated those positions and why those are the best methods to do so. So that is all I have to say for today. Goodbye.